Hi, loves. Welcome back. This is it. AW Villa Vibes finale. Oh, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. The final dates are over. The I love yous have been said. The families have definitely spoken. And one
Mhm.
couple walked away with the prize. And I'm talking about the girl, not talking about the money. Today, we are sharing our final hot takes for the summer. We're crowning our own favorite couple, which I think is America's favorite couple anyway. And we're saying goodbye to the villa for the summer. And it's bittersweet. And here to say farewell for the summer is my sidekick, Avani B. I don't know. I'm emotional. Everybody's talking about what are we gonna do for the rest of the summer.
Man, get my Sandy back. That's what I'm doing. Get my Sandy back. My guy.
It has been quite a what, 6 weeks? Six?
Yeah,
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
It went by so fast.
No, it did. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely did. Yeah.
I know. So let's get into it. I'm gonna just go with the boot. Kenzie and Dylan, Casey and Titi, Corbin and Parmita.
Mhm.
The three couples we thought maybe had a shot. What do you think? I was
There was
surprised.
only one couple in
It,
there that
it,
and that was on honestly, yeah. The only and it's only because of the fact that they ranked in the top for the compatibility thing. That was the only reason why I thought they might have had a chance. I mean, I think I've been saying it for a minute though, that I knew for a fact prior to the whole girlfriend thing, like, the whole boyfriend girlfriend thing, like proposal
proposal.
between them and like the
It was cute
compatibility
too.
question. I had a feeling America was not going to allow them into the top 4 given the history and everything that happened.
Yeah,
I definitely think the proposal was super cute. It was a nice little moment,
it
but
was.
at the same time, I mean, given everything that happened with Anaya and the words that were exchanged during that whole thing, I wasn't too confident that they were gonna be put in the top,
Yeah. Do you
if
think
you know what I
America
mean.
got it right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I do
yeah, I
too.
think I was kind of already knowing what the order would be as well. I wasn't shocked with that either.
Yeah, I
Um,
have to say I wasn't shocked. I wasn't shocked.
I figured honestly that Zach and Kato were gonna be in 4th place. That really it's Melanie is in 3rd. Anaya and Carl. I honestly though, I was kind of going back and forth for a second. I was like,
I
Anaya and Carl
almost
has a good chance, and because especially with the way that they did their date, I was like, this is the date of somebody who it definitely is given like
that
their win.
story that was epic.
Oh my, I was in
That was
tears. I
beautiful.
was it killed me. Oh
Before we
yeah, yeah.
talk about the
Sorry,
dates,
sorry,
I
uh,
want to mention the karaoke challenge because I thought it was absolutely adorable. I really did. I mean, Kenzie and Dylan did such
they
a
ate that
great
them. They ate
job.
that them.
They were so cute. I think that was probably the first time that I saw them as a couple because they were just like so cute, so just in sync. I really love that after his whole, I don't know what to call it, but that was exhausting.
It was,
His insecurity, I was like, "Okay, like, I
and like
remember there was one episode that I literally turned off the TV and I was like, "I'm exhausted emotionally."
I don't even remember which day that was, but yeah, I remember
It
feeling the
was
same
when he
way.
kept saying, he was
At
like,
that
"I
and
need
I
you to
think that was
prove
a
it to me."
back-to-back day,
Yeah, it
because
was.
I remember the thing that was kinda pissing me off about that whole situation was that he said what he said, she said, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry that it's affecting you this way, yada, 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 whatever. I'm working on it." He goes, "Well, your words mean nothing to me. Actions, I need to see it in actions." Then comes back 20 minutes later to have the same conversations like you're not doing anything. And I'm like, "What do you want her to change?" And I guess the other thing for me kind of that was a little frustrating about that whole situation was it still to a certain extent felt like judging somebody based on their past.
Yeah, for sure.
And, like, I think we forget, like, sometimes you do kinda work your thought process out loud with certain things, and, like, I don't know, I'm like, maybe he's devil's advocate or whatever, but have you not been in situations where you're getting to know someone and you're like, "Low key, I do think my family could get along with you," and then you're also getting to know somebody else and you're like, "Low key, I also think my family could get along with you," so, like, you're kinda like in terms of that whole thing, because again, I mean, it's not I don't know, it's not like a slap in the face to tell somebody, "Oh, I think my family could get along with you." I think it just says, like, things about, like, your family in terms of, like, they would like you, they would find you chill, but they would also find this person chill. So it's not
But
like
I think eventually he found his place, and I think that
I think that's
family
that had
day,
yeah, I was gonna say that had to do
I
with
want to get into that. Like
That had
Family
to do
Day
with Family
did
Day.
solidify, I think for him, it really did solidify the relationship. He was like, he
Well,
kind of felt that comfort from his family. And I think meeting her family, it meant something to him. So I think that was the kind of moment where he was like, okay, this is real. We're really a thing and let's move on. I think
yeah.
that helped. But I do want to get into Family Day because there's so much there. I'm not gonna start with the meat and bones of that episode. But Carl's family, my God. And Bryce's
Girl.
grandmother.
My God, I've been talking about his grandmother for
Oh,
days.
she needs
I've
her
been talking
own
about
show.
his grandmother for
I
days.
loved
She
her.
said, "So when are we gonna have you two in the hideaway?" Okay, ma'am.
It's
It's like you
funny
got it.
because I saw him in her. I was like,
100%.
I see it. I
100%.
loved it.
And like even when she called out the bromance,
That's
I
right.
was like,
Yeah, and that romance was definitely on, I don't know, on freaking fire
it was low
the
key
last.
the bromance, the strongest individual in that couple is Zach because he was making sure that he got all his moments in.
I mean, I
I
don't even know what to make of that bromance. I
I
really
have
don't.
my words, but
But Carl and Anaya, I mean, they finally, I felt, because in the beginning it was almost like I don't think she was quite there. She was still detoxing from Casey, but then she finally like let herself go and allowed herself to enjoy
girl,
Carl.
you know what I think it was that really helped her? That movie night. Seeing it all, I think really allowed her to like finally because I think she was definitely letting go and we were seeing how, like her get more comfortable and stuff like that. And like I think she needed that to see it and to hear it for herself in order to fully be like, you know what? I'm done with that chapter. I'm closing it out. I'm not talking about it anymore. It's not gonna be a thought process. I am putting everything I have into this couple and I'm gonna she said everything that she had to Casey, and then that was it.
And that was it.
Like
She
that was
shut
it.
it down.
They had
Yeah.
that final conversation that obviously went pretty decently.
She got closure. She got
Yeah.
closure.
And like I know, that there's probably still people out there that are like, well, it must kind of suck to like start your relationship off like that, like with the, like the second option thing. But I'm like, maybe we shouldn't look at it as a second option, just as a second chance. Cause like realistically speaking, we know that like, or at least I do, that had she brought him in, I don't know if they would be in the spot that they are now
That's a
because
good
it
point.
wouldn't because she's always would have sat there and thought about like the KC of it. And like she needed to experience that like that loss to really understand, damn, like I really did kind of mess this up. And like again, and she didn't know if Carl was gonna come back. I think production knew immediately the moment she said she wasn't, or I don't know if they tell them beforehand or what the case is, but I think production knew they were bringing that man back.
Yeah, I
I
think
that's personally that's how I feel. I think they knew.
I could
And
see that.
because Carl, he was one of those rare ones that we have, like those rare islanders on Love Island that you just know, even if they got kicked out, they were coming back. Like he was just such a good person that
Yeah.
you just knew. And I think they started their relationship in the best way that could have worked for them because it would not be the same had she brought him back from day one.
That's true. I gotta agree with that. So she had to close one door to open another for
Mhm.
sure. Yes.
Obviously, we see how comfortable she is with him too. Even like physically, it's a very big difference. She's a lot more like affectionate. Like
Yeah.
she'll hug him. Like, and I think it's also that sense of like she talks about it a lot. Like he makes her feel beautiful and feel seen and feel heard. And I think that adds to it. And I'm not gonna lie, when he was like, I choose you. I'm like, I see what you
Yeah.
did there, Carl. You want to
No,
make sure
I
that goes.
definitely think they were one of my favorite couples. But I talking about favorite couples
Yes,
just because there's so much controversy around this. Zach and Kada, first
I
of
let you
all.
talk first.
Yeah, I know we have a difference of opinion and we really want to hear what people are saying. So there's this whole thing about Zach asked Kada, not asked, but he was like, we're dating exclusively. Trinity thought that was a situationship, which I think if as a girls, if you're my girl, don't trash, like don't rain on my parade. Like
See, I don't look at it necessarily as raining on her parade. I
first of
think
all,
she was also like kind of being the friend that's like, okay, if you're happy, then I'm happy, but I do want to point this out to you rather than just like feeding it and be like, yeah, girl, you go. And then like later on it comes out that she felt this way, and it's like, well, why didn't you tell me you felt that way? And like for I think for me, some of like Kata's reactions up until now have felt kind of, maybe she has those friends in her life that kind of just say yes and support it blindly rather than saying, hey girl, I just want to let you know this is also how this kind of feels if it's not for you. And my other thing too was Kata's reactions to that whole situation made me like started making me believe like she does want that relationship. Because if I felt that comfortable and confident in something, my friends could say, hey girl, like I think, this is kind of weird. And I'd say, you know what? I hear you and I understand that, but I am comfortable and confident in where we are. So, and that's fine. And that, but her like the amount, I don't know, the way that she started trying to convince other people of what it wasn't was what started throwing me off. Because I'm like,
Mm,
if you're that comfortable and confident in your relationship and wherever you guys stand, you don't have to convince me. You don't
uh,
like my opinion doesn't matter to you because
that's fair.
you yourself are comfortable and confident where you are. But her
That's fair.
constantly trying, she spent 2 days trying to convince other people, and like
That's fair.
she's like, it's not this, and
I
like
gotta say,
throwing those little jabs.
it's not as simple as be my girlfriend when he lives a whole country away. I understand if they were both within even the US, it would have been like, okay, you want to be my girlfriend. I get it. But I think dating exclusively kind of tells her, I care about you enough to, I want to get to know you. I want to only date you, blah, blah, blah. But for him to make it official to ask her, be my girlfriend when he's a whole country away, I think it to me, it's unrealistic and I think that's a hard promise to make if you're a whole country away. So when people
Well,
say,
I think
"Oh,
it's
that's
the
a
same
situationship," well,
but I think it's the same
I
concept
think
that
for
in
me,
terms
a
of them dating
situationship is
exclusively.
when you fuck around and like we get together when we get together and there's no labels on it and we could do whatever we want, just get together when, whenever. But to
Well,
me, that's a situationship. So when Trinity called it a situationship, I was like, well, I don't think he labeled it that way or he thought of
I
it
don't think
that way.
anybody
And I
is gonna
didn't
label it
either.
that way,
I
like
don't know.
on
I've had
purpose.
this conversation on the podcast before. The whole situationship thing, it means different things to different people.
It does,
I
but I think the thing too though is that like if we're gonna say that about like the boyfriend girlfriend thing, it's the same thing then with them dating exclusively. And like and the other thing too is that they'd already had that conversation. That was not new information to them. They had that conversation after Casa that they were pretty much like closed off and like yeah, they were locked in with one another. So it wasn't like it was new information. We all knew that already. You know what I mean? So I think that also like kind of throws people off because it's like, well, y'all already said it
I
a
do
week
think he
ago.
has some commitment
I and so
thing
sorry.
going
The other
because
thing that I was saying was like the dating exclusively thing also applies like, to the boyfriend girlfriend thing then because it's not, especially like we're because he's saying, "Oh yeah, I'll just like move over here and I'll get like an Airbnb or stay with her." That takes time. Like at the end of the day, that too takes time. Like to,
100%, yeah.
so it's still gonna be, well, we're seeing each other when we could see each other, if you could fly to me or if I could fly to you or whatever. Because at the end of the day, he's gonna have to still find a job in the States. He's probably gonna have to go through like the visa stuff because one would assume that he would need a
Yeah.
visa in order to, especially to stay here for extended periods of time. So he's gonna need to figure that out, and that could take a long time. Get a job, find an apartment, start researching all of this. So it's
True.
also in terms of those things, that's also still going to be a I see you when I see you. And with her, she probably has a job and she has her own life, and I would assume she would have to go back to that for a while before being able to pick up and go to England whenever. So all those little things, I think it's still kind of pushes it into that. And my other thing too is like I personally, he said he's at this point, he has said a lot of things that make me feel like that man does not want a relationship. Because, like the joking around about the I love yous, like saying I love you. Oh no, I meant it as a
When he got
joke.
on one knee, like, that
Yeah,
was
gets
awkward. I
down
was like,
on
"What is
one
he
knee
doing?"
and it's like,
He
no,
thinks
I'm
it's
just kidding.
funny?
He does. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm fixing my shoe." And then, he's talking all of this about like how, oh, you can't do like a romantic anything in the villa, like blah blah blah. But then you have
That
KC,
proposed.
exactly,
Yeah.
like who obviously he thought Zach was part of it, so he very much so looked very happy for them and thought it was the cutest thing in the world.
Meanwhile,
So
Kata has Google eyes, poor thing.
yeah, and so it's like, and I think the thing is he's kind of like dropping all these little things that in a lot of
Red
cases,
flags.
yeah, like outside the villa, if you were in the real world and a guy was like, "Oh yeah, like I could see you being my girlfriend in the future," which
Yeah.
is different from saying like, "I want you to be my girlfriend. I just have to plan it. Like I just want to plan how I'm gonna ask you," which tells me, okay, it's at the forefront of your mind. You are thinking about it. But I think he keeps centering it around, well, we have to see how life works outside the villa first. We have to see how it works outside the villa first. You can't do anything special in the villa. And it's like, and then saying oh, I could see you being my girlfriend in the future. The I love you conversation that they had on their little hill or whatever, where he was like, yeah, like it's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, that was
That's
bad.
not flattering to me. I don't, as a girl, I would never want to hear that from somebody, especially not from somebody that I like. And I'm saying, that's my man, just not my man yet. Like, that's not, I don't wanna hear those things. I don't wanna hear you saying, "Oh, you think I could be a good girlfriend in the future?" Like, that's how for me personally, it just makes me feel like he doesn't want a relationship and, like, he wants to keep her there because obviously he likes her, but I don't know if it's, like, a commitment thing or if I don't know if he's just genuinely not in a place where he wants his wants a relationship. Because then you look at it from the other side, how that man talks about Bryce, that man lights up when he's talking about Bryce, and Bryce isn't his couple. But then he's talking about Kata, and he can't. He's like, oh yeah, I think you'd be a great like I could see you being my girlfriend in the future, or even the way that he talks about her in terms of we like Ariana asked him like, well, would Bryce from or sorry, not Bryce, would Zach from the beginning believe you now, or like whatever the question was, and he was like, no, he wouldn't have thought he'd come out of this with somebody so hot, and I'm like, you look at all these other guys when they talk about their girls, even Sincere, they always call their girls beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, things like that. And he's talking about Kato. Oh yeah, she's hot. That's the same
Yeah,
as calling her a smoke show.
it'll definitely be interesting to see how the next few months go. Well, the reunion is on the 31st, so let's
August
see if they
31st.
even August 31st. So let's see if they make it that far. But I do want to get into because this is so important. It was such a big thing for me. But Family Day, it tends to change everything. But I think this season I have to say, we talked about Carl and Anaya and
Yeah.
Bryce's family and Trinity. And let's see, Zach and Kata, everyone seemed like very supportive. Fine. But then you saw Sincere and Melanie's families, and even the dad, Sincere's dad, Benjamin, he was like, I didn't want to come here, but I had to come and like check you because this is not the man I raised. I had so much respect for that because, you know, there's a lot of pressure placed on women, but I think the way you raise a young man is also important. And I think his dad seemed to really say, this is not your best self. This is not the Sincere that, you know, the young man that I raised. I get you want to, sow your wild oats, do your thing, but there's a respectful way to do it. And he basically said, I'm not okay with this. And you're going to have to, clean up your act. So I felt like it was just for me like a good grounding moment because it felt like, yes, men do have a responsibility as far as you can explore, but you could do it in a respectful way, not such a shady way.
Well, even I mean, when you think back to the comment that he made, what right before, I think it was the same morning before the recoupling, where he said, "Oh, I forgot what she looked like."
Yeah,
And
I don't
mind you,
think
that's
she
another
did.
thing. Yeah, I was gonna say that's another thing. She doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Imagine.
But I'm guessing she might see the show after and
One would assume that they probably would for the reunion's sake to, make
yeah,
their notes and stuff like that of everything that they're seeing and hearing that they might not have shown, especially
that's a
during
big
movie
one.
night. So, yeah, and I
That's a
think
big
there's
one.
probably a lot more comments that were made that they couldn't fit into movie night, you know.
100%. But the other thing that I do wanna bring up because I told you I've been Melanie. I've been that girl, when I was in my early 20s. Her mom, I'm Dominican, they're Dominican, and I felt that mom's love, that like, that mama
That's why I was
bear.
confused when she was like, "Yeah, my mom will like you." 'Cause I'm like,
Yeah.
in my
I
head, I was like, "Girl, your mother's Dominican. What do you mean that she's?" I'm like, at the she might
You
be your
heard
mother,
my
but
daughter,
she's
yeah,
still
in your
Dominican.
neck.
Well, and not just her, and like But also her sister, like,
Oh,
her
wait.
sister first of all, her sister ate down. I was like,
Her sister went well, I wanna start with the mom because
"Oh, yeah."
this quote to me was everything when her mom said, "Your heart is sacred," and then in the same breath, I don't know if it was her sister or the mom, but one of them said, "Don't let anyone take your essence."
That was still the mom. That was all in the same breath. Well, her
I
mom was
just
a woman of few words, but she said a lot. In the beginning when
oof.
they first got there and, you know, Melanie said something about, like, chances, and her mother looked at her in front of Sincere, was like, "How many chances are you
Okay.
gonna keep giving him?" And then when they were talking by themselves, she was like, "Why are you gonna keep giving him a second chance when there's still other people waiting for their first?" I was like
I know.
"Yes, ma'am."
But
Mhm.
her sister was not buying
And
Sincere's
from
redemption.
And from what it sounded like, because of the fact that Melanie was looking at her, it kind of reined her in a little bit. I could not imagine if this was like one of those years where they usually switch off and allow the families to talk with the other people alone.
I mean, really,
I do
I
need to mention this to you because I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and I want to know from your perspective what you think. I've seen a lot of people mention when they first got there, Sincere goes to her, you know, to hug the mom and goes, "Yo, mommy," and she doesn't respond. How do you, especially as a Dominican and a Dominican mother,
I
how do
know
you
my
feel about
mom
her?
was a tough cookie, and if she yeah, the fact that she didn't respond,
Yeah, because normally
that says
that has a
everything.
response.
100%. They don't like him. It'll be interesting between now and August 31st. And you know, and the other thing is now Melanie gets to see him in the real world. I think it's a whole different Sincere.
I wish we
Um,
would still like we could still have one more after sun to see them get their phones back and stuff.
well,
I would
ooh.
love to have seen that.
You know, I also and I have to say this because Melanie's they're in their what mid 20s, 23, 24 or something like that.
I honestly still have 0 clue.
I want to say this. I saw this, and I think it was mentioned in After Sun, but I want to say like dating at your age is it sucks. It sucks.
That's dating period these
Dating
days is
period at any
honestly
age is I'm
like
sorry. It's not to me. It's not a fun experience. I don't
I think it's
know.
the culture that's been created over the years, so dating culture
Yeah.
has changed a lot.
But I just wanna bring it up. I saw this ad where I can't remember what brand, but the brand said, "We'll do this for you if you just drop him." Like, first of
I've seen a
all,
lot of those.
I I think dating is hard, period. You're right, at any age. But to take Mel, like, on this journey, like, she's gonna make her mistakes. She's gonna go with her heart, and that's okay to do. Like, I just feel like that's just too much pressure to put on someone. So I don't know. I just feel like she should get some grace because let me tell you,
Well,
if
honestly,
dating
I've never even
my
thought like, of the ones I've seen, I didn't think about them in, like, a bad way towards her at all.
oh, okay.
I always felt like they were it's the same thing that all of us have been doing, like, "Girl, leave that man, he is stealing your essence. There are better things out there for you." And I think it's because 'cause we've obviously, I've seen a lot of brands being like, "This is not okay for her." And I
Yeah.
feel like that's maybe, like, from a brand side of it, like, without saying explicitly, like, "That man is horrible for you, you need to leave." It's like, I've kinda seen it as, like, there are positives out here and there
Yeah.
like there are a lot of positives, a lot of positive experiences. You do not need to continue in such a negative situation for yourself.
I
Especially
just
like we've seen at the what's it called? Like the finale, like the actual final piece of it. That was the first time, or like no, sorry, it was when she was with her girls. It was when she was with the girls at the nail salon. That was the first time that I'd seen her look young since she started, since she first walked in the villa. She actually looked young and happy again in comparison to that man aged her for weeks from what it looked like. She looked drained for every single day up until she was you know, with her girls outside the villa getting their nails done. Because then they go back and they get ready, and she's sitting next to Sincere, and Sincere saying all these cute things. The girls checked out.
y
So I'm like, in terms of that,
yeah.
like I like sure. Does it feel weird because it's coming from a brand? Yes, but at the same time, it's no different than everybody else saying, "Girl, you need to leave that man."
'Cause I just feel like I know if my dating life at 23 would have been on camera, I mean, I walked into so many landmines. The fact that I'm still here, thank you, Jesus. Because there is I mean, it's just a shitty game at that age. Like dating, like you said though, dating at in this time and place and culture is I don't know. I just there's a
It's
lot to be
just I
desired.
mean, it's very it's because like, granted, I think first of all, the dating culture is very different, but I think people's mentalities are also very different, and I think there's things with expectations and
Situationships.
that too, but no, like, in terms of, like, I think there are a lot of people that have certain expectations that some of them I think are super valid, but then some of them, it's like, you're looking for something that genuinely does not exist. Like, you are looking for a fairy tale perfect man or perfect woman with no flaws whatsoever, and you're refusing to accept the fact that these are still people. These are real
And I
life
think
people. The people are flawed. There you will never
I
meet somebody that is textbook
perfect.
perfect, and if you do,
Yeah.
run.
That's
If you
actually a
meet
good point.
somebody that
Yeah.
you are like, "This is a perfect person, they have literally no flaws," and you've stayed with them and you lived with them or whatever, and you see that there is nothing wrong, run. Because that is a curated image to benefit you, and it's not gonna benefit you in the long run.
That's true. That's a good
That's all I
point.
have.
And I think I romanticized dating for a long time myself. I think I did. So, you know.
I can understand that there are good people, but even good people make mistakes, and that's healthy. That's normal. It's when you don't see them and you think they're perfect that there's a problem.
Yeah. But I want to talk about the final four. Sincere, Melanie, Trinity, Bryce, Anaya,
Mhm.
Carl, and Zach and Kada. And
Those dates.
what did you think of the dates?
I think everybody had a pretty good one, minus Kata and Zach. I don't know what it was with them deli
Yeah, it wasn't
sandwiches.
crazy. The deli sandwich.
No, because when I saw that deli sandwich wrapped in twine, I was like, "Get out of my face." I mean, as it
Yeah.
already was when she was like, "No, don't mess up my hair," blah blah blah, and then they throw her in a speedboat. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
wasn't. Which was
respectfully
your
for the
favorite? I know which one was
oh,
your favorite date.
I mean, I just thought Anaya and Carl's was beautiful, but then I also thought like
The floating.
Brinity had such a they had dinner and a show, and
Yeah.
they had such like it was very intimate, and I loved the show aspect of it. I always love when they bring in like performers. Would it scared the hell out of me the way they came in? Yes. But I also thought it was beautiful. And then you have like the floating, like
The
whatever that is.
massage
People
floating in
people
the
been making me
middle.
laugh though. They've been like, damn, they had such a DIY date. They really said do it yourself. Even though
Yeah.
I think
I think
making your own pizza is always like really cute.
I think so too.
I do have to say though, I gotta say this.
Oh.
Do you know how much it pissed me off to see Sincere do rock, paper, scissors for who gets the damn massage? I was like, Sincere, if you don't get your
This is the same guy that let her sleep out in,
I know, and
sit.
I did remind myself of that in the moment, but I'm like,
Those are
sincere,
the
please.
things you pick up on, though. Those are the little things. Who do you think has the, in your opinion,
Mhm.
has the highest chances of making it outside the villa?
Honestly, I really do think Brinity and Carl and Anaya, sorry.
Yeah, I like.
I I think for both their own, individual in their own individual ways. I mean, I think seeing how Bryce was like, "You can come to me, I'll come to you. Like my door is always open for you. I don't care how long you stay." Like he was like, "You could be here for the longest time if you want. Like you could basically move in, and I'm fine with that." And that alone, I'm like, that man wants her in his life. Like, and he is so like he's like, my door is always open, and especially that. I think a lot of especially guys, typically for the most part. I think there are some women too, but for the most part, men, they wouldn't keep their door wide open like that. Not in a brand new relationship.
That is
They
true.
wouldn't. And the
That
fact
is
that he
true.
was like essentially saying my space is your space and you don't have a time limit on when you can come, when you want to come, how long you want to be here for. And even I do want to point out even the fact that his grandmother was like, I can see her going to DJ gigs with him and like supporting him at like those shows and stuff. That says a lot, and then in terms of with Anaya and Carl, they kind of I think we'll see
Both play
them
volleyball.
that but also, even with when she was, saying because he's still going to PT school or something along the
Oh
lines of that,
yeah,
and he was like, "Well, I am gonna have to move to, like, Denver for a bit," or I think it was Denver,
yeah.
and I was like, "I'll go to Denver, I'll go to Nantucket, I don't care where I'm going." Like, she was also like, "I'm so down," and and it was because they had that distance conversation because he had been in a long distance relationship, which I remember he said was like kind of difficult. But even the fact that well, they both seemed very comfortable and like being like, I want to be where you are, and I'm so okay with like moving. Not a lot of people would say that, especially when starting something out. So I think it's very telling of where those two relationships are. In terms of with Sincere and Melanie, the only advantage they have over everybody else right now is that they live 20 minutes away from one another.
which is good and I don't know. Those 2,
It depends
I
on her. I
I feel for her. I feel for her because I think it's gonna be a challenge, especially with her family. She's like, "You gotta win my family over," and I'm like, "Gonna
Well,
be
and he's
interesting."
he's very easy to be like, "Oh yeah, I don't care. It's fine. I'll do it. It's fine." And then when what the other thing that did, as usual, tick me off with him was when he was talking to his dad, and his dad was like, "Do you even think you'll be able to fix this?" And he was like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like,
Yeah, the
"That's what I was
guys,
talking about."
the
Well,
island,
no, it's
but
not even an alternate reality. It's what we spoke about the last time. You teach people how to treat you. And she has taught him that all he has to do is say the right words, act good for a few days, and he's back in her good graces. Right now, we see her mentally checked out a bit, but like she still said, even after her sister was fighting for her, she was like, you know what? When have I ever like made the wrong decision for myself and yada 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 whatever, and she's like, "You know what? I wanna give it a try," and it's like, you have taught him
my mom
unfortunately severe therapy after this. That's something for sure, and she'll be learning through therapy.
yeah,
I said something last night, and I wish I could remember what I said. It was very on par to the situation.
well, I have to say those dresses last night because we love fashion. Those dresses were on fire. Melanie and Anaya definitely those dresses are
I
I
loved
them
the
in my
drama of
closet.
Melanie's dress. I
They
loved it.
they did really well. And I like Trinity's too. It was very queen. Like,
It felt so like her. Every time I think she has such interesting style because
yeah.
she could be very early 2000s, and that's the other thing I really like about them as a couple. They have such an early 2000s vibe.
Yeah.
Every time we see like, you just know that you will never get a bad outfit out of the two of them put together. And imagine, like, if in long run they're living with each other, now they're really feeding off of each other's energy and style. They'll be owning.
So those the winners, obviously, we all know, and if you don't know, you might want to check out now. But Trinity and Bryce, I think that was definitely and the I love yous and the last date. It really did feel genuine to me.
And the thing is, when he
I hope
spoke
it
about when
was.
he felt it, like you could tell, like on his face in that, like at
Well, he said it
Casa.
was at Casa.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
you just knew it, especially when they showed it back, like all of them back on the screen and stuff. First of all, I was not expecting them to pull some of those moments out. I
What did
understood
you
why
think
they did
about
it. I
that
was like,
finale? Because it was
damn.
different from the others.
Yeah, it was. I thought I was waiting for like the letters like to each other and stuff, and I was waiting to see if they were gonna split it. I think they probably this year they probably knew they were gonna split it anyways. That was like that was a couple right there that there was no shot that they weren't going to. And I think that was the other thing was like, especially seeing her break down in that moment, like, and her talk about how it's all now hitting her, and her saying that,
Good
especially
things
from
don't
where she
happen.
comes from, yeah, like good things don't really happen. And if they do, they're super, super rare. And it was, I don't know, it was just one of those things that it was like, damn, like you could see it hitting her. And then remembering their first conversations about the jobs that they did. Like Bryce, we know he's spoken about modeling and DJing, but
Did he work as
one of his biggest insecurities was working on garbage trucks. And I know
yeah.
he mentioned it might have been a little bit more recent. I don't 100% remember, but I do remember him saying that when he works on them, he has to wait until the end of the day because they have to go through their rounds first. So he's like it's, and I remember him saying that for him, it's not, it's not a job to be proud of. And he felt kind of embarrassed by it. And they bonded over that because of the fact that she worked in a hardware store. And she was like, I don't like, that's not, a job that I would want to do, and like I don't love doing it. And obviously we know she quit before going, and I think they're probably one of the most deserving people. And not to say that past ones aren't, but I just think in terms of like, especially looking at the things that they spoken about, Jesus, had a sincere moment. The things that they've spoken about in the past, they just seemed like genuinely so grateful for Like, to
Yeah,
be first of all, to be where they are as it already is, and with that win, and I think their futures are definitely gonna change, and they're gonna have a lot of opportunities once they leave, which, I mean, from what it
as
seems
of
like, there's nobody that's been more deserving of
for sure.
that
So,
change in their
would
life.
you have to ask
Again, not to say that anybody else in the past has not been deserving of the change. I'm just saying,
yeah.
just wanna
So, would
preface
you
that.
say favorite couple?
Yeah, it's so hard because now they just seem so in the flow of everything, and they just seem so
Yeah.
natural. I'm like, ugh, between them and Carl and Anaya, it's hard.
Yeah. I don't know, I would say they're my top 2. It would be hard to I mean, I'm just really rooting for them.
Like, genuinely, not even because it's like Love Island. It's just I'm just rooting for them. I'm like, I really hope that y'all are able to make it work in the long run, and that
You'd wanna see them win for sure. How
yeah.
about the biggest red flag of all the winners? Not the winners, the final 4, that's what we're talking about now. The biggest red flag in those
Um, in terms of what? Like,
just of like, when you think about them long term, the biggest red flag you would see.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't even count Sincere and Melanie in this conversation because given their everything up until now, it's just very hard to count them into this conversation. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to move them out of this because there's a lot that could be said there and a lot that are, I think, quite obvious. But I think the next would be definitely Zach and Kada.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, I was. That wasn't surprising. Um, excuse me. Especially like I said, all the little things, and I think they talk about it like it's this easy situation where he's just gonna move over here and B&B and all this. But the reality of it, it's not that easy. Like, let's be so for real. It is not that easy to just pick up and move somewhere else
Yeah.
completely. And like I said, even with the visa stuff, like, he's gonna need to go through that process. You know what I mean? Like, and Charlie, I know Charlie was saying to him during family day, "Oh yeah, you're gonna have to move to New Hampshire." And it's like, it's not that simple. Like, and from what it sounded like, he wasn't already living in the States.
Yeah.
Like, he's very clearly, whether it's Australia or the UK, I don't really know. That's still the only part that's very uncertain, is where exactly does he live. But he still has to make, first of all, make a move across the ocean, which is expensive in itself. One could only imagine. And then again, to find a job, to find a place, they're gonna have to have a lot of conversations. Like, well, if I'm moving here, are we just moving in together? Like, all of those, like, little things, you know what I mean? So it's not gonna be that simple.
Yeah.
And one would also assume he would have to go to New Hampshire to even see if he likes it there first. Like,
I would say definitely wave those red flags on that one. How about funniest moment? For me, it was definitely Bryce and Zach. There was a moment I don't know if there was
not
yes, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, okay, it's funny and
no.
awkward all at the same
You
time.
know what made it so much funnier for me was that when Bryce was talking about how, like, it's an open door policy for Trinity or whatever. I remember Zach started talking about, how he was gonna move, or get a B&B or stay with Kata, or he was like, or I could come stay with you. And Bryce said, that was the first time that man did not agree with, like, and say, like, "Oh yeah, you could definitely stay with me." In his
Ah,
head, he was like, "I gave my girl an open door policy. I didn't say that you can stay with me whatever you feel like." Because
yeah.
low key,
It's
sometimes with the way that he be Bryce, not Bryce, Zach acts with Bryce, I'm like, I would fully believe that man would be more inclined to go stay with Bryce more often than he does with Kata.
favorite islander.
Favorite Islander?
For me,
Mine's between, honestly, this is gonna shock people, between Carl and Bryce.
interesting.
I know we probably would have thought I would have said one of the girls, right?
Yeah.
No, mine's I think mine are between those two. I mean, to start with, like, Carl, he's just he has this, like, energy to him that's very calming,
Yeah.
and from what we've seen, is someone who, he'll have conversations with people that are hurting or frustrated or whatever it is. And he won't he'll hear them, but he won't feel that fire for them to continue down that path. He'll be like, I hear you and I understand you, and maybe you can go about it in XYZ way. And for whatever reason, it's very
Yeah.
calming to the people that he's having those conversations with.
Well,
People
does he practice Buddhism or something?
I think so, yeah, because I
Because
remember
that
one
would
conversation with the beads and everything, and I don't know,
yeah.
he just has it's his energy to him. He's very, like, calming and, like, I don't know. there's something about him that's I think is very interesting. So he's definitely one of my favorites for that. And then I think it's Bryce. Are they the same age now that I think about it? I think they might be.
Oh, really?
I actually low key now that I'm thinking about it, I actually think that they're the same age. So I that's the other thing. They also have a different sense of maturity in comparison.
Yeah.
Uh, but
So Carl and Bryce.
yeah, I don't know. And then because like Bryce is also the way that he is with Trinity. It's so cute. And even just him as a person, like seeing for me, Casa will always be the biggest tell about who you are as a person, I think. And seeing how respectful he was of everybody in that situation, because I know we like to think it's only the original couple that's being impacted, but it's also the people that are coming to Casa, with these
100%.
intentions or whatever you call
Well,
them.
I would have to say that Carl is a favorite, and I think it's his disposition. And the other one, believe it or not, is Mel because I was Mel at 22. I was Mel. I was that girl, and I don't know, but she's gonna be okay. It's just hard, just a piece of the life's experiences. But I don't know why I have like this empathy because I've been there and I feel for her. It's gonna suck. It's gonna sting. He's gonna hurt her. I'd be
He's going
shocked.
to.
Again, God. Okay, so we always like to end with truth bombs, and this has been a freaking. It's just been epic. It's been epic between the clam slam and the chat bot.
One final clam
She
sandwich.
did. She did. She did.
I just want to say real quick, I have to give it to her for like when she found out in that moment, that they weren't going forward. She handled that so beautifully, and she was like, "It's okay, I'm ready, I'm okay." And
Yeah.
she handled it very differently than I think most people would have assumed, like how she would. Um, and I really have to give that to her because I don't think I think that's one of those things you can't take it away from her. Like she knew it, and I
Did
think she
live
came
the
to
experience
yeah.
too.
And I mean, and it's also, I mean, it's fair. She probably was ready to be out, you know.
I'm exhausted from all the kissing.
I do have to say
But
though, in all fairness, like
she
I
did.
so from After Sun when she was talking about like she went into a villa where nobody liked blondes. People did not like
Yeah.
anything that essentially she like they just didn't like her. Period. Like nobody was really down for her. Dipped out the first chance he got. So I mean, I also like I do have to say in terms of that, like that is kind of difficult because then obviously we saw her kind of getting to know Sean, but we didn't know if that was gonna go anywhere. It didn't when we've seen Sean talk about it afterwards, he seemed more like he liked who is it, Anaya?
Yeah.
So even then, he wasn't super I'm into blondes from what it sounded like. So she did have to kind of keep restarting until she found somebody that liked blonde, first of all, liked blondes and wanted to get to know her. So it's like
Well,
you got to kiss a few frogs to find some. What is it? To find
that
your prince.
that is that is
I still
true.
don't know if that's her prince, but in terms of Love Island lore and all that,
Well,
few of them
he's
to.
Mr. Right now, let's just say. But we've spent us an entire, well, not even an entire summer, half the summer, I guess, because believe it or not,
You're
we're at
so
the halfway
right. Oh my
point.
god.
Yeah, I know.
You're so.
So we've spent,
Now I'm depressed.
I know, we've spent half of the summer talking about love and Love Island. So here's our final truth bomb for AW Villa Vibes. What is the biggest relationship lesson this season taught you? Mine is when they show you who they are. And that's not even like a lesson that I just learned. It just kind of reinforces.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's more of a reinforcement and a reminder because we know it, but then we forget it sometimes. And
100%.
again, seeing them, it's like let me go re-remind myself because oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like yeah, and
But wait,
it's
but
between that and like don't allow somebody to steal your essence. I don't know. There's a lot of
yes,
them.
I
Honestly,
love that.
oh, and you
But
know
wait,
what? You know what too? Don't accept breadcrumbs from people. Don't allow people to breadcrumb you because
that's a good
then you're not getting what you want. You're getting what they're telling you want.
wow.
And
Damn.
you're accepting the bits and pieces that they'll give you because you don't want to stand up and say I deserve more.
And what's the biggest lesson you learned about yourself while watching Love Island?
I ain't built for that shit. I would not make good
I
reality TV.
wasn't expecting that.
Sorry. I'm not. I've realized that if
Okay.
this was a different life, I would not be built for it.
Oh my
Because
God.
between like people trying to lie to you and trying to play you for stupid and like And even just the whining and all of that, and I understand they're with each other 24/7, so they're expecting full-blown honesty from one another. But it's also, like, knowing the people that I have in my life and the kind of people that I value around me, and, like, a lot of the I do have to say, as I've been watching this over the summer, given that, like, I'm kind of within that same age range as a lot of them, I've really thought about the friends that I have in my life and, like, even, like, some of my best friends. Like one of my best friends, I've been friends with that girl for almost 10 years because of the fact we have a very honest like relationship with one another. If I'm messing up, she's not going to hesitate to be like, "Girl, you're being stupid. Like I understand you and I love you, but you are in the wrong here." And those are the kind of people I value in my life because I don't want people that are going to sit and feed into my delusions all the time. Do we do it every once in a while? Sure. But we also know when to be like, I know you're going to hate hearing this, but I love you too much for you not to hear it. You are messing up, or you are in a situation where you shouldn't be doing this, or this shouldn't be done to you. And like, I know that there have been things where I'll tell that girl months later, and she'll look at me and she'll just say, "You know exactly why you didn't tell me this at the time when it was happening because you knew exactly what I was going to say, and you're only saying it now because you know it now." And but that's those are the people that I value, and I don't given from what a lot of what we've seen and like the kind of playing into certain things, and like I love Anaya, but her having to be called out by Mama Harvey just to finally start calling out the whole sincere situation. Like for me, I like that would be tough for me to have as a friend because I
Yeah.
would want you to be honest with me from the moment that it starts happening. Hey, this is a toxic situation. It is not doing you any favors. I just need to let you know that now because if you want to continue going with it, that's fine. I'll support you in that. But I do need to let you know as a friend and as somebody who cares about you, this is hurting you. Like
Yeah.
that's just me personally. But yeah, I'm not built for that.
So
How about you? What have you learned about yourself watching this?
damn, I've gotten a lot smarter over time because because I watched Melanie and I was like, I can't believe I was that girl. I gave not one, not two, not three, not four. I gave a shitload of chances, and I ended up with the same pile of shit every time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I think that's also like that's why you need the right people surrounding you. Like, and I'm not saying that the girls that she
And
has in
people
there
make mistakes.
aren't.
It's not that
Yeah,
people
it is.
make
I think
mistakes.
it does go into it when you have people around you that are also accepting the behavior of that person and making excuses. It does push you further into the situation, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure,
And
for sure.
it doesn't help you in the wrong. And again, that's not to say that I don't think from what it seems like either one of those girls are like genuinely bad or malicious. Do I still think that Melanie had her moments, especially in the beginning, and she
Yeah.
definitely stopped them once Sincere said two could play at that game, and he really started playing it. Yeah, but I do think it also a lot of where you end up is it's dependent on where on the people that you have in your life.
Well, thank God for age, thank God for wisdom, and thank God for those friends. So I'm gonna do a really quick fire, just
Okay.
a lightning rod.
I hear what you're trying to tell me. Got it. She said, "Don't
Karaoke
rant."
karaoke challenge, favorite couple.
Kenzie Dillon, hello?
Yeah, I have to agree. I was gonna ask about the food challenge, but that was a hard pass for me. I have
I
to
didn't
tell
even
you,
like the
I
only thing
forwarded.
I saw from that when I like to be honest with you, I just wanted to know if they were gonna ask them any questions at all. Once I realized that they weren't gonna ask them questions, I fast forward. I don't
Couldn't
know,
do
was
it.
that what,
Couldn't do
10,
it.
15 minutes? Skipped them all.
I skipped them all.
I thought we
Favorite
escaped it this year.
Yeah, so did I, but I fast forwarded. And I'm sure we're not the only ones, by the way. Favorite moment of Family Day.
I'm not gonna lie, Bryce's grandmother.
My
She said, "When are you guys going to the hideaway?" It just
I have to say
it had
for
me crying.
me and ladies and gents, remember, your heart is sacred and don't let
Oh.
anyone steal your essence.
You know what? Yeah. But for me, that one definitely got me. But I think it was her other quote for me that really did it.
Well, which
Was why? What was it that like why give somebody a second chance when there are
it
others waiting for a first? Because
true.
I don't know. It was just it's so true, and especially given that situation, there have been that the second chance was already
Yeah.
given. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
why continue giving
And
somebody
it's
a
okay to
second
give
chance?
someone a second chance, but
Yeah,
three,
but
4, 5, 6.
5, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just there are so many people out there that are waiting for a first, and there was something her sister said to her. What was it? It was something about like the longer you stay with the wrong one, the longer you stay with the wrong one, the longer it takes you to find the right one. And I was like, you were so
Yeah.
right. You
These,
are
I
so
mean,
right.
these are
That whole
these are so good.
conversation was
These are good. These are good, and we have to remember this. Favorite moment of the season?
season.
I would say it's always fun to watch Meg the Stallion
Oh my
and the
god.
girls just getting together in that beautiful, like, freaking room. One day I'll have one.
Yes, go.
Not pink,
Uh,
white.
no, Meg. I mean, she's always a
Woo!
highlight of. I think it was what
Yes.
last year that they brought her in
Yeah.
for the first
Yeah.
time. I
Yeah.
need them to
Those
continue bringing
moments.
Meg in
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
year. And I mean, I'm sorry, just in
Oh,
terms of the
and seeing
marketing
the video
brain,
exactly, because she,
she
the
like
same
and
brand.
obviously I think it's grown a lot since last year because I think last
Yeah.
year it was just the women or the
Yeah.
girls that had theirs, and this year it was the boys and the girls. So I'm just like, from the
That was
marketing
great
perspective,
marketing, 100%. And the messages at the end, I love from the different, celebs. I thought that was really cool
I thought I
because there's so many fans of the show.
well, I loved Lizzo's. Lizzo is like, y'all lives are changing. She's
Yeah.
like, mark my words, everything's changing the moment you walk out. I was like, yes, Lizzo.
And we have to end with one of my just she's iconic, man. I used to watch her on Vanderpump Rules, so I remember the scandal. I remember everything she went through,
That girl
and
has had
to
the glow up of her
watch
life. She's
Ariana
in such an
Madix.
incredible position. Like she's just in such a wild place that I'm always like, girl, I wish I could ask her like, what would you have thought all that time ago? Like if somebody was to come to you and say, hey, I just want to let you know in a few years you're gonna be an Emmy nominated host for Love Island. Like, how would you feel about that?
Congratulations to Ariana
Oh my,
Madix.
no, literally, like she's so deserving. She's
Have
deserving
you
of that.
dressed for the finale?
She's looked incredible.
Ariana.
Like, I mean, the past she's been hosting what, 2 seasons now? Or
Yeah.
no, this is her 3rd, sorry. I think it's
Oh, it
her
is?
this yeah, because I think she
Wow.
started with season 6 because right before that I think it was Sarah Hyland.
Okay,
And
you're right.
then yeah, I think she started with season 6. And she's really come into her own. Like
I mean,
as the
the
time has gone,
outfits,
you've
the
seen her
wigs, the
become
hair.
even more confident than I think she already was. And I mean, I spoke about the hair last time, but I this is the right shade of brunette for her. It's such a it's just
So,
obsessed to the mark.
of the entire season, the most memorable moment you'll take from season 8? I have to say, Sincere's vocabulary just
Oh, Epitone.
I don't know. I have to say that is one. Outside of that, I would say Ariana's her wardrobe, her stylist, whoever her stylist is, I
Loves
have to give you oh my
her.
God.
Love
Like loves and knows her body so well, knows her fits. And I just feel like
I've been loving that green dress.
love, love. I mean, yes.
That green dress.
Goddess. Yes, yes.
It just made
So
me wanna get into Pilates
I
and
don't
get
know.
like that.
I'm gonna have to look up
I'm
some
like, "Oh my
Pilates
god."
classes because
'Cause mark my words right here, you'll see, I'll be wearing something like that and I'll feel confident. Because 'cause I'm like, "I can't do that right now.
well,
We're not there
congrats.
yet."
We'll get there though. We'll get there. It just
That's
takes
why I said
some
yes.
time and dedication. Dedication. So, congratulations to Bryce and Trinity, and we wish you all the best. It has
Mhm.
been a freaking amazing season. I have to say, it did surprise me.
Even honestly, After Sun was I loved the revamp of After Sun this year. I think it was just so flattering to the show, and Teffy and Ciara, they did such an incredible job with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they had
think
good chemistry together.
this is a format that works for them, and I really hope they keep it for the following years. And I honestly, I would love to see them continue hosting.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they bring in different I don't know. I kinda like to hear different people's, like, perspective.
Yeah, but it's also like, I mean, I think outside of them, the only other person that I really, really liked was Mora. But I think I liked I think I liked these two because not to say that I didn't like the fact that they had old Islanders there, kind of talking from like the Islander perspective, but I also think it's so different now to have old Islanders share opinion is kind of it's iffy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
it is a very different show, and it's a very different format now, and I think it allows the conversation to be a bit more specific when it's 'cause they treated it like a conversation, not necessarily like a panel.
That's true. That's true. I did appreciate that.
And that was, I think, because they obviously had a very good dynamic that
Yeah.
fed off of one another, and I think that made it very different in comparison.
Well, it's been an epic season. Loves, that is a wrap for another
Yeah.
unforgettable season of Love Island and AW Villa Vibes. This is year 2, right? Summer 2.
Yeah.
So thank you, Avani B, for spending half the summer with me,
Mm.
dishing all the hot takes, for
Bueno.
laughing, for debating, and for sharing your wisdom with us. You know, I always look forward to that. So until next
I trust
season, keep choosing love, trust your instincts,
your guts.
and never ignore those red flags. I'm Yvette, and we'll be seeing you next season on AW Villa Vibes. Thank you for
I
joining
Y'all will
us.
see me though.
That's right. That's right. That's
I
right.
am a regular here.
we'll,
Just saying.
we'll have to find it. We'll, we'll have to find our next show. We need to
Mhm.
work on that.
Yeah,
But
we do.
I don't know. That maybe we'll choose Netflix next time. We'll see. Bye, loves. Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Be safe.
That's right.